YBL the world. YBL the world. Yeah, anyway, back at it again. You know what I'm saying? Look at the nails, bro. Look at the nails. I don't know if you guys can see that. Ooh, see that shit? Shit changes colors. Anyway, yeah. Back with another one. Yeah. This is gonna be a long video, I think. And yeah, man, I'm just gonna be speaking about quite a lot of things. And everything that I say in this video, like, these are things that I've seen and that I've heard. Whether you believe them or whether you give credit to them is up to you. I would, in fact, encourage you to do more research on any individual part that you might find scrutinous, or for lack of a better word, you know? So yeah, man, I started this channel because I wanted to talk about the material world, at least what I believe to be the material world at the time, you know, our current society, our current way of being, and all things of that nature. And in this journey, I've become more knowledgeable on the spiritual as well as the material. So I'm making this video to kind of speak about like what I think this is, you know what I mean? When I say this, I'm talking about life, just like everything that we can see and perceive in front of us. And where else to start but the story of Adam and Eve, the ultimate story of creation, as some may believe. So there we existed in the Garden of Eden, man and woman, Adam and Eve. And I think it's important to look at the story as symbolic, not literal, but in a symbolic sense, because I think large portions of the Bible are very symbolic in their details and so on and so forth. But anyway, Adam and Eve are there in the Garden of Eden, naked and at peace with everything. And then one day, Lucifer, the morning star, is cast out of heaven, and he's there in Eden as what? A serpent, all right? I just want you to remember that, you know? Serpents, they just go like this, you know what I'm saying? They can go up, but they always come down. They're very tied up in this, you know what I mean? So the serpent is there, and he tempts Eve with the tree of knowledge, good and evil. And I think even this story can be perceived as feeling, the feminine side, and Adam can be perceived as reason. So essentially, Satan tempts Eve, feeling, and it gives way to reason. Now, if we look at whenever you're tempted to do something, you're tempted to go drink, you're tempted to go slap someone, it's a feeling, you know what I mean? And then your reason gives way after the fact. So yeah, it is what it is there. And anyway, we ate the tree of good and evil, and therefore we had knowledge of the material world. Immediately noticed by when Adam and Eve noticed that they're naked. And so God cast us out of the Garden of Eden and set us on earth, the material world, you know what I mean? And yeah, for a long time, no one really knows what happened. No one really knows where this all started. No one really knows. You know what I'm saying? You can say the Big Bang theory, evolution theory, you know what I mean? All these different theories, all these different supposed ways of the world coming to be. But yeah, recently I've just been looking into the history of civilization and all sorts of things of that nature, and I then discovered that the 3 pyramids of Giza were built exactly in line with Orion's belt. You know? And it's like, when we speak about the pyramids in these great civilizations, we always ask how. How did they build that? How? But really, do we ever ask why? Why do you build 3 monolithic structures in line with Orion's belt, in line with the stars. You know? Why are there so many sacred sites around the world? Stonehenge, that temple in Jordan, Machu Picchu, all these great places of civilization that fell. We still don't know. You know? We still don't know. But I had a theory that essentially what the people of the world were doing back then, well, they were trying to align the world with Christ consciousness. They were trying to bring forth Christ into our reality. And yeah, where else to go from but Jesus Christ himself, you know? You know, for a large portion of my life, I believed that Christ was almost separated from history, you know? I mean, the story, and it is a story, you know, like, it is kind of framed that way, you know what I mean? Like, you hear of a guy that turns water into wine, cures leprosy, walks on water, and you believe that it's a story. You still believe at the end of the day, but you think that it's a story. And then you actually, like, look into it, and you actually discover that Jesus Christ was there. You know what I mean? I heard that his real name might have been Yahshua ben Hur, but Jesus Christ is what we've conceived of now. But regardless, you know, it was said that Mary was a virgin, you know? And I saw something that said that for a being like Christ to exist, he can't have been conceived through the normal nature of sex, because that creates us, the material, you know what I mean? But this was someone that was the material and beyond. So obviously he was born in the material, but he wasn't of it, you know what I mean? So maybe there's much more to the Virgin Mary than just like purity and all these things that we say, you know? But anyway, there this guy was. He was born, and he traversed life as a carpenter for much of his life. And then one day at the age of 30, he said, you know what? I'm going to go do these things. And there he gathered his disciples, and he did all the wonderful things that we know he did today. And then he died, you know? And it's very easy to say, like, TSA, you know what I mean? Like, I wasn't there. I've never seen anything like that. It's bullshit, you know? But then the other day, my friend Kyle was showing me a video on this game called Osu. He showed me this player called White Cat. Essentially, this guy was like just so fucking good at the game that everyone believed that he was cheating, and they banned him for 3 years. And I'm like, wait, man, wait. There's more credit to this Jesus thing than we give credit, bro. You know what I mean? It's like, human beings don't like it when someone's better, bro. It's like we just are so inherently envious and jealous and all these things. So when you see a guy walk on water and come to you and say, I'm the king of the Jews, you're obviously going to be like, this guy's fucking insane, let's kill him. And they did, you know what I mean? But it was almost his purpose to die. Like the Bible says, he came and died for our sins, you know? But I think when interpreting Jesus Christ, I think we have to go beyond the biblical tale of it. I think we have to look at it in terms of a worldly aspect, you know? Because yeah, man, it was almost like Christ came and humanity completely shifted after he was born. Like, completely. I mean, it's even embedded into our fucking history, bro. BC Anno Domini. That's not for no reason, bro. You know what I mean? That isn't for no reason. And if you have doubts on whether Jesus Christ was real or not, you can go look up the work of a Roman historian named Tacitus, who existed in and around the time of Jesus and spoke about this guy called Christus and his many followers, and how Pontius Pilate exacted harsh judgments upon him. And then there was this other guy called Laelius, Jewish historian, and he speaks of this other guy, Christus, who was a man who had many followers, and he said some things. And then he said, if it is even lawful to call him a man, because he was a doer of great things. So, That's a little history lesson on Jesus Christ outside of the biblical context. But anyway, Jesus was born, man, and then, yeah, the Bible was in its ending stages. St. John the Baptist wrote Revelation. And what does the book of Revelation speak about, man? It says that Jesus Christ will come again, but before he does, some things need to happen. Key among those being the emergence of the Antichrist, you know? And I don't know, but like I've just become like fascinated with the idea of this figure, like the Antichrist, and just how someone like this could come to be, you know? Because yeah, man, Jesus was born and the book of Revelation was written, and then, you know, the Roman Empire, whatever, and then this guy Constantine, he defeats this other guy, and then he essentially props Christianity up as the religion of Rome. But then they say, wait guys, wait, only the church must read the Bible. Only we are important enough to read the Bible. The rest of you people, I don't think so. You know what I mean? So yeah, what they do, they built one of these, bro. You know what I mean? They built one of these. They established hierarchies, you know? The church hierarchy. And from that point, everything in society became to be dominated by the idea of hierarchies and being selected by God. And this descending order of human beings, you know? King, whatever, soldier, peasant. You know, the kings were chosen by God. They were God's chosen people, and they were here to do great things. But yeah, that first age lasted for roughly about 1,000 years. And then the 1,000-year period was up, and then weird things started to happen in Europe. Black Death, Knights Templar was disbanded, many deacons of the church were fucking doing some really weird things. And then we started to shift towards science and reason and the belief that everything around us can be proven, you know? Everything around us can be proven. You can prove that this happens. You can prove that that happens. All right, so what did the West do? It went all over the world and said, guys, your beliefs are fucking stupid. We are right. Shut up, listen to us. Colonialization, you know, that big period of whatever it was. And let's take a look at all the cultures that they colonized. Because for a large portion of this story, or these accounts, Africa's like often left out, you know what I mean? And Africa's huge, bro. Africa's massive. I'm from Africa, bro. Like, I love Africa. So I'm like, what's the situation with that, bro? But then you think about it, and then you think of just every place that housed an indigenous population and their beliefs and what they center their lives around. And almost all of them believed in being in touch with something bigger than the self, being in touch with nature and being in touch with spirit. These guys had shamans. They had these people that would convene with the spirits. But then the West came and they were like, science, shut the fuck up. Boom. Wiped. And then we all adopted the same system. You know? So yeah. Now we're there. 1,500. And information changes because of this invention called the printing press, which allows information and text to be handed out in such a way that people didn't think possible before. So now there was information going all over the world about a bunch of different things. And so we started to interpret the world around us. You know, Nietzsche, Galileo, Isaac Newton, all these various figures began to comment on the world around us and believed that the material was all that there was. What we can see is what there is. Anything else, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Or so the people interpreting the work were to believe. Because another interesting thing about all these figures is that all of them believed in God. Galileo himself said that math is the language of which God wrote the universe. You know? And yeah, man, the way I believe it is that I think some people are born with a connection or a journey aligned with God, and they are meant to help bring that knowledge to humanity. That's why I think all these people believed in God, you know what I mean? Because, like, you know what I mean? It's almost too stupid to just say, well, these guys believed what they believed, but then we adopt their word as gospel, but we don't take their beliefs as gospel, you know? By any stretch of the imagination, they were smarter than all of us today, by miles. But we still believe that science and reason and all these things can help us determine the modern day world. And what has that done to us, bro? It's made us more left brain in our thinking, adopting reason as the dominant belief over feeling and not letting them be in unison. Now I want to talk about Babylon, the civilization that the Bible speaks about. So, in Babylon, there's mention of this guy called Mammon. Mammon is derived from the Hebrew word for money. And what happened in Babylon? Well, the people became too obsessed with greed, power, lust, and all earthly pleasures. And God said one day, you know what? This is wrong. Divine judgment destroyed. And then I think I read somewhere that the kingdom of Babylon will be decimated for 2,520 years, and then it will rise again. Babylon fell in about 389 BC, or 330 something BC. We are now in 2025. What does that mean? I don't know. And yeah, man, where are we, bro? Where are we today? As a society, as a collective, as a consciousness? What drives us to live? Money. We believe that our quest on this earth and that our time in this society is in progress towards money, towards cars, towards houses, towards everything that is earthly. And anything else is hearsay. It's bullshit. Science disproves it. No, it doesn't. You know, that's the misinterpretation. We think that because science exists, God must not exist, when in actuality it almost justifies it more. Look at the structure behind me, bro. There's a house, obviously, but we built this. We humans created it. When you go look on NASA's Instagram page and you go look at images of planets and shit like that, and the cosmos and everything is like a painting, bro. Everything is like a painting. Perfectly symmetrical structures in perfect axis with the sun and these bodies of gravity and this and that and this and that. And somehow you want to tell me that because there's a pattern, there's no maker? I think that proves that there's a maker, bro. Because there's a pattern, it proves that there's something there. something which me and you cannot see. But that's the human fault, is that we believe that we can reach the heavens. We believe that we can be God. And what does the book of Revelation speak about the Antichrist? It says he will emerge one day, and he will be in unison with the great beast with 7 heads and 10 horns. And he will rule the world, and he will exalt himself as God. The beast has 7 heads, eh? Revelation was written when these motherfuckers were in Jerusalem. These guys had no conception of the world, nothing like that. How many continents are there on planet Earth? You cannot make this shit up, bro. You cannot make this shit up. But yeah, man, the way we're moving, the way society is structured, our beliefs right now, what we value, has put us on the path, or we are on the path towards the Antichrist. When's that day coming? I have no fucking idea. Because that's the other thing, bro, is like, oh, the rapture's coming now. Oh, Christ is coming back. No one fucking knows. No one fucking knows, bro. You know what I'm saying? I think Jesus said, like, not even he knows. Only God the Father knows, bro. But there are signs, and there are things that we must be vigilant for in these trying times. And yeah, man, I just find it very fascinating that we exist in a time where the nuclear bomb was made less than 100 years ago. You know? What is it, bro? It's the ultimate form of human destruction. It's the ultimate form, you know? St. John the Baptist speaks of these massive fireballs that engulf the earth. The motherfucker didn't know what nuclear bombs were, bro. He couldn't say it was a nuke that got dropped all over the earth. He couldn't. But now we have something that can create massive fireballs across the earth. We have adopted the belief that growth and progress are the things that drive human civilization and are the things that drive the human species. And now I want to talk about the Tower of Babel, another biblical story. So there they go, building this tower that's going to reach the heavens. And midway through, God looks at them and is like, no. Destroys that shit, a structure, confounds their speech, and scatters them across the earth. Link back to Lucifer, bro, and the serpent. Tied up in this. You know what I mean? It was here, but now it's here. The vertical axis is also the axis on which gravity acts. Isaac Newton, what goes up must come down. That's an inherent law of nature. So anything in the material world that goes up must come down. And we have been rising for too long. We have been neglecting the problems for too long. So, you know, I say all these things not to scare anyone, bro, but because I believe that God is like everything, bro. And I think all of us have God inside us. You know, it is said that it's the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And the Holy Spirit's within all of us. And I believe it's our mission in this life to traverse through the material world so that we can one day reach God again. But I think it's the belief that the material world can satisfy our souls that keeps us trapped in these cycles of destruction and creation and all this other bullshit. I don't think it's a coincidence that any time Satan shows up and tempts someone, he offers them all the earthly pleasures they can imagine. But then they're damned afterwards to rot in hell. And there's it there again, bro. Duality. The one constant that we can observe in our reality, that duality, in almost everything, in a man and a woman, in day and night, in life and death, in one or two, good and evil, God and the devil. And yeah, man, this stuff is all just so fascinating to me. Because it's almost like where we exist now, there are all these little puzzle pieces scattered across our existence on this planet. Jesus Christ, Buddha, the Egyptians, the Mayans, whatever the hell else came before, and everything that's currently going on right now. And it's like we just don't want to build the puzzle, bro. We just don't want to build it. We just like, who needs that? We got what we need. No, we don't. No, we don't. And yeah, man. Life is a gift. It's the ultimate gift. Especially being where we are today. I think if you're watching this video, you can be in such a place where you can truly say life is a gift. Yeah, you don't have all the things you want, but who fucking cares, bro? I could be a fucking child soldier in Africa for all I know, bro, but I'm not. I've been blessed with the opportunity to come on this platform and speak about these things. I've been blessed to interact and engage with all the knowledge that I do. I've been blessed to interact with all the people that I had that have led me to this point. And I think we have to acknowledge those blessings to truly understand why we are here as individuals. As a species, I have no fucking idea, bro. I don't know, bro. I don't know what our grand plan is, none of that. But I think all of us individually are meant to find out what we are here for. I think that's why the Hindus believe in reincarnation and the Buddhas and so forth, because I think that it's that endless traversal through the material without reaching the immaterial that keeps us trapped on this plane, you know? I mean, the Buddha achieved enlightenment by escaping the cycles of samsara, by detaching from the world around him, you know? Jesus Christ, after he rose on the third day, ascended to heaven. He left behind the material world. And I truly believe that Jesus Christ was God, bro. Because what was he killed on? Two lines. And as simple as those two lines may be, they are very symbolic for the different paths that we can take, or the two different paths that we can take in this life. And I think it's the union of both that helps us do something else. It's understanding that the material is here and we have to interact with it, but we are in progression of something else. I mean, bro, you look at these stars and you're just like, it's almost too perfect. I've just seen things in this life where I'm just like, that's God, bro. You can't say that's anything else but God. You know? So, yeah, man. I say these things because these things have just helped bring me a lot of peace and understanding about my role in all this and what I want it to be. And it's just brought me so much peace, bro, you know? And it's not to say that suffering will ever be extinguished, because God is all-knowing, bro. God's almighty, as they say, and it is all there for a reason, bro. We cannot have a good day without having a bad day. Otherwise, we wouldn't know what good means. We cannot suffer and then like not enjoy it, you know what I mean? There are just things that are inherent within us, not because God hates us or because of any of this, but because it is serving a much larger purpose. And we are nothing but you can't even like visually illustrate how small we are on a cosmic and like universal level. You can't even show us. You can't even show the human life on that. And some people may look at that and be like, oh, fuck, that's depressing. No, I think that's amazing, bro. I think acknowledging that will allow us to look at this and say, I don't have to fucking pay a house loan, bro. I want to go and achieve enlightenment. I want to get closer to God. I want to get closer to Jesus Christ. I would like to create a movie. I would like to build a car. But because the material world and science and reason and what we perceive has defined us for the last 1,000 years, that's what we limit ourselves to. We are here. We keep ourselves locked in at this level. But there's so much more, man. There's so much more. And we exist in a time now where we can see all of it. You can learn what the hell are the pyramids about? What the hell was Jesus Christ about, bro? What the hell is psychology about? Who was Lucifer? Who was Solomon? All these figures, bro. The fucking planets, the solar system. It just all connects, bro. It all connects. And it's too simple of a thing of, it was just there one day. That's too simple. That's way too simple. For you men of reason, for you men of science, that's way too simple. Greed. It's gonna consume us. This society. The one that I'm existing in, the one that we are all existing in right now. It's gonna consume us. That endless search for trying to reach the stars. It's probably gonna destroy us. And we can do it ourselves now. You know, before it was God or nature or whatever you want to call it, but now we can do it ourselves. We can hit the red button and then we'll all be dead. Pretty scary, huh? It is pretty scary. And that's why I think we've adopted comedy so much in this recent era. Memes, Vine, TikTok, anything that makes light of the situation. Because I think we inherently know that all this shit around us is cooked and we are just babbling on. But, you know, what can you do, bro? I'm making this video be watched by like 30 people, 40 people, whatever. Everyone watch it. Interesting things. Interesting things. Now let me go pay for this bottle of Jack Daniels. Because, yeah, man, I'm right there with you, bro. I'm watching videos on this shit and I'm like, damn, fuck, bro. God is amazing. Yo, let me smoke this cigarette. Yeah, man. Yeah. Life's the ultimate gift, bro. And we exist in such a time where we can let it continue to be a gift, or we can make it suffering, which is what we're doing. It's either World War III, economic collapse, or a massive revolution. There is no way out but down. Fallen angels. When? I don't fucking know. How? I don't fucking know. But the signs are there. The signs are there, my friends. On a social level, on an economic level, on a political level. Hell, even on an individual level. They are all there. I do not think it's a coincidence that we have become obsessed with doomsday scenarios in the last 100 years. Apocalypse movies, zombie movies, this invasion, that invasion, the end of the world, 2012, the Mayan calendar, all this. I don't think it's a coincidence. Because when humanity starts to speak of things, you know what I'm saying? Because that's what it is, bro. We are kind of connected by like one consciousness. We may not see it as that, but that's what it is, you know? That's why I say it's no coincidence that all these fucking civilizations around the world believed in something greater than us. They believed in something beyond the material world. Because we are human beings, bro. Whether you're black, you're white, whatever, God made human beings. We are all inherently the same. So when we start talking about things, when we start feeling things, it's real. The same way the animals will know when it's gonna rain, we know when something's cooking, bro. You can feel it, you can see it, but you won't believe it because it's too hard. It's too hard to admit that the things that you were told your whole life may be a bunch of bullshit. It's too much to believe, bro. It's too hard. Trust me, I was there. My brother, it's scary shit, dude. It's scary shit. But believe it you must, bro. Accept it you must. Because it's not the end, bro. It's only the beginning when you do that. Our potential right now as a civilization is... I don't even know. I'm not even talking on a purely technological level. I'm talking about on an everything level. We have all this wisdom throughout history, bro. This amazing wisdom. And we're just like, go buy some stocks. Are you fucking serious? Are you fucking serious, bro? A motherfucker walked on water. The motherfucker walked on water, bro. He did. I believe he did, bro. You know what I'm saying? And you want to tell me, Donald Trump or Kamala Harris? Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up, bro. Fucking hell, dude. Because, yeah, man. This system, it's almost like it governs itself, bro. It creates its own beings. It creates its own entities. Cause yeah, man, me and my homie Amu, we were speaking about billionaires and the like, and he was just like, dude, Elon Musk kind of had to become a billionaire. There was no other life path for him. And it just got me thinking, bro, like all these figures that have come to be, they almost had to come into existence. You know what I mean? These people had to exist, bro. YouTube had to be created. All these things had to come to fruition. Why? Fuck knows. But they had to happen. And it's that loss of empathy and it's that loss of feeling that puts us where we are now. Our society right now has become way too left-brained. It's become way too manly. We have lost the feminine side. We have completely lost touch with it, bro. Completely. I also don't think that's why there's this thing called Mother Ayahuasca in the Amazon that you take and shows you some crazy things. Mother Ayahuasca, Mother Nature. I don't think it's a fucking coincidence, bro. That's a plane. It's just amazing, bro. And it's truly how you look at it that will determine how you live it. Jujutsu Kaisen, it really showed me that, bro. Mentality is everything. What you choose to believe, how you choose to react, how you choose to be, that determines everything. We have free will at the end of the day, bro. We have free will. God made us in His image. That's why we could eat the apple. Because we have free will. And it's like we forget that now. Oh, I must go do this. I must go do that. I must. You must fucking what, bro? Shut the fuck up, dude. Shut the fuck up, bro. Yeah, man. It's truly amazing, bro, life. It's a gift. Like I keep saying, bro. It's the ultimate gift. So to sit there and whine about, oh, I don't have a Ferrari. Hey, bro, me too, bro. You know what I mean? Maybe once you get the Ferrari, you'll realize that you never needed it. Maybe you always wanted it, bro. I don't know. I think it is truly a case-by-case basis. That's why I also say that the Holy Spirit is within all of us. Because we all have our own journeys in this life, bro. You guys can't understand mine fully, and I can't understand yours fully. We are the same, but we are also very different. And I think it's that belief that this one's better than the other that also throws us down into the gutter, you know? Like one of the stories in the Bible is that, one day Jesus is there, he's walking around with his disciples, whatever, and then the rabbis show up. Hey, Jesus, this woman committed adultery. Let's stone her. These guys are setting a trap for the boy Jesus, Stone her. Damn, I thought you were a forgiving, nice guy. Don't stone her. You're not godly. What does Jesus say? Let he who is without sin cast the first stone. Everyone drop the rocks. That line just fucking hit me, bro. That line really hit me. We are all imperfect beings, bro. All of us. And I think that's where the empathy comes in. It's recognizing that. It's recognizing that we are all the same, but so different at the same time. Yeah, man. Yeah. Go stream I Am Music.